Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4.
It's Friday!
And it has been quite a week, hasn't it?
It feels like it's been a really long week. This is also coming from someone who's finally not jet-lagged.
Yeah, it took a week to recover.
It did, it really did, but happy to be here.
Has been in all week for us. Thank you for your help.
Of course, yeah, and props to Susan for taking one for the team and waking up at the crack of dawn for us, yeah.
Beautiful day today. We'll get to the weather in just a minute. But first, here's what's making news today. Energizer plans to close a plant in Vermont and move production to Wisconsin, what it could mean for the city of Portage.
Madison's water utility is giving people a heads up about an East Coast company trying to sell pipe insurance in our area.
And former Vice President Joe Biden says he is the front runner in the 2020 presidential race, but he seems to be facing some funding issues.
You did mention that beautiful weather today.
Yes.
Let's take a peek outside here and check out the weather words. This is before we saw the colors of the leaves. This is a nice little slice of the moon there.
That's very cool.
That is cool. Not quite as cool, though. The weather words. Let's turn it over now to Dana outside on the weather patio. How's it feeling out there, Dana?
Right now, it's fantastic. We have a nice sunny sky, a light breeze. Overall, this evening should be a really nice fall evening and a mostly clear sky for tonight. So any Friday plans, all good to go. Here's a live look with our WISC-TV sky cam. Not even a cloud in the sky right now. So, of course, our Doppler track is nice and quiet for tonight. We're in the upper 40s currently around Madison, about 50 degrees in Platteville and in Janesville, about 51 Black River Falls. So everybody a little below average, but still a really pleasant fall evening compared to this time yesterday. It is just a degree or two warmer, not a big jump. But that sunshine, of course, helping our temperatures warm up a little more this afternoon. Our breeze also coming from the southwest in the single digits. Enough that you'll feel it, but not a huge factor for our forecast. Now, tomorrow we'll start off with sunshine, but some shower chances might return later. We'll look at your full forecast in a second. Right now on the roads, the eastbound side of the Beltline, already seeing major delays from 151 stretching through John Nolan, speeds down to the teens. No accidents at this time, but it's going to take you probably an extra 15 minutes to go eastbound on the Beltline. Around Janesville, all looks good. 39 and 90 from Janesville to the Beltline will take you 26 minutes. 16 from Sauk City to Middleton, and Sun Prairie to downtown, usually around 15 minutes at this time, but it's about 18-minute drive for you currently.
Yeah, but another nice day out there. I'm loving this fall sunshine.
Yes, yes. So you can actually enjoy the temperatures and enjoy the colors, like you mentioned. Enjoy all the leaves falling right now.
Yeah.
And raking them.
And that too. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dana.
We start with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. The United Auto Workers have given final approval for a new 4-year labor contract with General Motors. The ratification brings to an end the union's 40-day strike, which cost the automaker more than $2 billion. Some of the union's 48,000 members with GM are expected to return to work as early as tomorrow. The union won several financial gains as part of the agreement, including annual lump sum bonuses or raises, and GM agreed not to close 4 U.S. facilities. Next at 4, Energizer has announced the company is moving production from a Vermont plant to Wisconsin.
The company released the news to its Bennington factory yesterday. Amy Reed joins us now to show us what this means for the people in Portage. Amy?
As of this morning, news of the move hadn't quite made it from Vermont to the plant in Portage, but for the local economic development team, this is just more good news for the manufacturing hub this city's created. We sat down with Steven Sobiak, who runs business development in Portage. He said while trends nationally and even elsewhere in the state show a decline in manufacturing, Portage is healthy and growing. For example, one of their big employers, St. Gobain Plastics, has invested $30 million in Portage in the last 3 years. He said this local trend shows the environment they try and support.
You know, we're very proud of Portage because we not only have a very large and growing manufacturing sector, but I think we've been recognized as being very pro-business, have a very strong small business climate.
As far as details on what this move might look like for Energizer, we're still waiting to hear back from the company. We know they let people in Vermont know yesterday, and according to news reports in Vermont, local representatives are trying to keep the plant there. We'll keep you updated as we learn more about when this might happen and exactly how many jobs it could bring to the area.
All right, Amy, thank you.
A 47-year-old Greene County man is in critical condition after being shot in the back of the head through his truck window. The victim was with a 40-year-old woman at a Crawford County tavern when they met a man celebrating his birthday. He was too intoxicated to drive home, so the couple gave him a ride. After celebrating at his camper, the two got in their truck to leave, and the man was shot in the back of the head. He was airlifted to UW Hospital. A 47-year-old Illinois man is now being questioned. A Milwaukee father who told police his 4-year-old daughter found his loaded gun and accidentally shot them both has now been charged. Prosecutors say 33-year-old Miles Kovac is actually the one who fired the weapon. His daughter suffered a gunshot wound to her foot, and Kovac was treated for a graze wound. He was charged with child neglect resulting in great bodily harm, as well as obstructing an officer and possessing a gun as a felon.
Multiple people were injured this morning in a crash that blocked part of the interstate near Beloit. This happened around 7:45 going northbound, shutting down traffic lanes for 2.5 hours. 3 people were taken to the hospital and others had minor injuries. As the Democratic race for the White House tightens, former Vice President Joe Biden insists he's leading the pack.
The candidate spoke with CBS News' Norah O'Donnell in a wide-ranging interview set to air on 60 Minutes. Kenneth Gregg has a look at that conversation.
The front runner?
I know I'm the front runner.
In an interview airing Sunday on 60 Minutes, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden declared his lead in the 2020 race.
Find me a national poll with a couple exceptions, the last 4 that have come out. But look, this is a marathon.
Yes.
This is a marathon.
Recent polls show a tightening contest between the former vice president and his rivals, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. They're out fundraising him, and the former vice president has opened the door to super PAC spending.
You have less than $9 million in the bank. Bernie Sanders has nearly $34 million in the bank. Senator Warren has $26 million. How do you compete against that?
I just flat beat them. We're on course to do extremely well. I'm not worried about being able to fund this campaign.
Facing his own impeachment inquiry, President Trump has kept up his attacks against Biden and his son Hunter.
When he walks away with $168,000 a month for him and his friend from Ukraine, then he's got no experience in oil and no experience anywhere. In my opinion, that's a payoff.
If elected, the 77-year-old told Norah O'Donnell his children won't have jobs in the White House and called out the president's son-in-law.
You don't think Jared Kushner should be negotiating a Middle East peace solution?
No, I don't. I don't. What credential does he bring to that?
The first primary contest of the 2020 presidential race, the Iowa caucuses, is 100 days away. Kenneth Craig, CBS News.
You can, of course, see more of Norah's interview with the presidential candidate and his wife, Jill Biden, this Sunday night on 60 Minutes. The Justice Department has officially opened a criminal investigation into who or what organization started the probe into Russian interference in the 2016 election. President Trump has long insisted that probe was meant to keep him from winning the White House. The criminal investigation allows the DOJ to subpoena witness testimony and documents and assemble a grand jury to possibly file criminal charges. Democrats say this raises concerns that the Department of Justice has lost its independence and has become a vehicle for the president's political revenge.
A federal judge has ruled the Justice Department must turn over former special counsel Robert Mueller's grand jury evidence to the House Judiciary Committee. Gaining access to the redacted information is a groundbreaking victory for Democrats in their impeachment effort. The judge also ruled the impeachment inquiry is valid, even though the House has not taken a formal vote on it. University of Wisconsin System President Ray Cross plans to retire. He announced those plans today. The 71-year-old Cross has worked 42 years in higher education, including the last 5 as the UW System President. He'll continue to serve as president until his successor is found through a national search. In a release, Cross said, quote, "Serving as president of the UW System has been the most rewarding work of my life. I believe there is no better investment for the state of Wisconsin than the University of Wisconsin System."
The city of Madison wants to warn you about a confusing flyer you may have gotten in the mail about insurance for your water lines.
Rose Schmidt explains what you need to know about the company trying to sell this protection to you. Rose?
So dozens of phone calls from homeowners are coming into the Madison water utility asking about letters they've received in the mail. But the company that sent them, Service Line Warranties of America, is based in Pennsylvania. It's offering insurance that for the pipe that runs from the water main under a street to a home. The water utility says the letters are part of a widespread sales campaign and not in any way affiliated with the city of Madison. So these flyers have nothing to do with your existing sewer line coverage.
It's like anything. Read the fine print. Even though this company is a legitimate company, it does offer insurance. You have to make sure that that makes sense for you and that it's something that you want to purchase and understand what you're buying.
Homeowners are responsible for repairs to water service and sewer lines, so they can buy insurance for these lines if they choose to do so. If you did receive one of these flyers, the city recommends you talk with your homeowner's insurance agent to see if this coverage is worth it for you and, of course, for your wallet.
All right, Rose, thank you.
More local news now. When the CP holiday train stops in Boston on December 4th, residents and visitors will attempt to break the Guinness World Record for the most people caroling. Last year, that event drew more than 3,000 attendees, and the current caroling record is 1,880 people. That was set in Portsmouth, Ohio, that is. If you would like to participate, you're asked to pre-register. We have a link to do that over on channel3000.com.
And a reminder that the Hamill Music Center opens on the UW-Madison campus tonight at 6:45. There'll be a ribbon cutting and musical fanfare at the building on University Avenue and Lake Street. Chancellor Rebecca Blank, she'll speak along with Meade-Witter School of Music Director Susan C. Cook. Afterwards, there's a free concert, but you'll need a ticket to reserve a seat. You can get those at artsticketing.wisc.edu. There are 2 other concerts there this weekend as well. And there's more to come at 4. Jay Wilson is live in Columbus with a preview of the Badgers-Buckeyes matchup.
And a long-running club that originated on the UW-Madison campus is doing something good for cancer patients. The story of these sewing sisters is next.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Welcome back. Facebook is launching a new section of its app. Facebook News is in its testing phase now and will become widely available to all users in just a few months. The company's head of news partnerships says the move should signal that Facebook wants to be a, quote, champion for great reporting. Content will be tailored by algorithms that come up with the recommendations for further reading based on the news a user reads, shares, and follows. Some news publishers will be paid for opening up their content to Facebook.
Optimism over a U.S.-China trade deal sent stocks higher. The Dow Industrials added 152 points, ending the week at 26,958. The Nasdaq was up 57. The S&P 500 gained 12. Well, UW-Madison campus is filled with rich history.
Part of that history involves an organization named after a Greek goddess. Charlotte DeLeste joins us now with a Do Something Good story about that group.
Well, that Greek goddess is named Demeter, who is known to possess superhuman strength, stamina, and vitality. And you could say the daughters of Demeter share similar qualities as they continue to do something good for more than 100 years now.
There's nothing like spending time with your girlfriends.
The camaraderie is unbelievable.
Especially when you have something in common. These ladies have been getting together once a month for nearly 45 years, so you can imagine the history they share.
We hear a lot of good stories, lots of good stories. Some of them we will not repeat.
But what they will repeat time and time again is just like a needle pulling thread, one stitch after another, after another.
We go and shop for all the fabric, and we like to pick out different patterns.
Originally, back in 1917, when we organized, we were a quilting group.
This group is known as Daughters of Demeter, the only women's organization on the UW-Madison campus associated with a college, in this case, agriculture and life sciences. In Greek mythology, Demeter is the goddess of agriculture. In addition to providing scholarships and grants to the college, these daughters are doing so much more.
I am a cancer survivor. I have not had to wear a scarf or cap, but I can appreciate and feel how important it must be to someone who is suffering from cancer.
Every month, these ladies make 100 caps and scarves that are donated to cancer patients at UW Hospital at no charge.
We want them to look really nice when they are having to go through such a traumatic experience.
Their styles are so unique that it's not uncommon to spot them out in public.
I said to her, I said, I think I made that cap. And she looked at me and she says, you know, this is my dress-up cap. I only wear this when I dress up. And so as we shared the story, we all ended up crying, of course, because of what the lady had gone through.
I'm making something. It's useful. It's a product that I know will bring joy to people.
But the real joy can be found in this room, inside each woman who is embracing the power of their inner goddess to do something that matters.
I think that each of these ladies, after spending time here once a month, leave this place knowing that they have done something good.
And I just love knowing I'm part of it.
Daughters of Demeter, thank you for doing something good and helping those who could sure use it. If any of you know of a person, business, or organization doing something good, please tell me all about it. Fill out a nomination at channel3000.com/do-something-good.
Quite a remarkable story. 100 years, I never heard of them.
Yeah, 102 years, and they finally are allowing men into the organization. And so far, they have allowed the men to carry their sewing machines to their friends' homes.
No sewing.
Nobody has been sewing yet there, so as far as males go.
Well, good for them. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Charlotte.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
There's more local news ahead. A Middleton High School teacher is on leave after reportedly segregating students in the classroom. How the district is responding, that's coming up on News 3 Now at 5. Take a look at this. It's a massive periodic table the size of more than 3 football fields.
Wow.
Students at Wayne State University's Department of Chemistry unveiled this monster periodic table of the elements in Detroit on Wednesday. It's expected to break the world record, but it looks like they had to battle the wind a little bit.
Yeah.
They chose October 23rd between 6:02 a.m. and 6:02 p.m. to reveal the table. The date is known as Mole Day. It pays tribute to the basic measuring unit in chemistry called Avogadro's number. It's calculated by multiplying 1023 by 6.02. I have no idea what I'm saying.
You know how to do, did you take chemistry?
No.
Did they have?
They didn't have chemistry. They only had 6 of those elements. They didn't have the whole thing.
Oh my You've never had to deal with moles before?
I never heard
had
this.
6 elements.
It was a while ago.
I think they had at least 12,
Yeah,
Mark.
maybe-
Give yourself some
perhaps.
credit here.
I know, I've never heard of that. I did
Okay.
take chemistry in high school, but
Yeah.
apparently I wasn't very good at it. Among many other things.
That's very cool.
Thank
though.
God
It's
we have
very
one
cool.
scientist in our midst.
Just keep, they
You
always
can do
add
that all
anything.
for us.
It's fine. I like math. We're good.
Okay, good.
Weather-wise, I also like what's going on outside right now. We have sunshine. It's really, really pleasant out. Just a nice fall day. Tomorrow we'll start off with sun, but we might have some rain returning. We'll look at the forecast right after the break. It's a really calm, quiet evening right now. Mostly sunny skies, a little fall crisp in the air. Of course, the colors pretty much at peak at this point in Dane County. Everywhere on north, thanks to the wind that we had earlier this week. Starting to get a little bare. Here's a live look with our Edgewater Skycam Doppler track. Of course, nice and quiet with no clouds in the sky. We're not really looking at a rain threat for tonight nor for the start of Saturday. Even as we look off to the west, things are pretty dry right now for Iowa and Minnesota. We're going to stay that way for the next several hours as high pressure is keeping things quiet throughout the plains and northern Midwest. We're all really enjoying a pleasant day as this high pressure is shifting a little further east, getting a little closer to our area. You've noticed the breeze has become a little calmer. We're not sandwiched between any two pressure systems. We'll stay fairly quiet overnight, but our next system, well off to the northwest, actually in the Pacific Northwest right now. That cold front is what's going to swing south Saturday night into Sunday morning, and that's going to bring a little bit of a rain chance. We're expecting some scattered showers, mainly southeast of Madison. Not a lot of rain coming along with that, but it will bring just a little bit into the area. The center of that high pressure, again, just to the southwest. We have a light breeze right now, become a little more southerly heading into tomorrow morning. So don't plan on being just as cool outside tomorrow. Of course, this morning we dropped into the 20s. Overnight lows will stay in the 30s for Saturday morning. Now, by Saturday afternoon, the cloud coverage builds back in. Most of the rain chance is going to stay to the south and east. Illinois and Indiana picking up a lot of rainfall. But by Saturday night into early Sunday, those showers are going to lift on up, impacting the southeast corner of the state. We may see a few light showers moving on into Madison, though most of that rainfall really not coming on in for our area. Sunday morning, we'll see a few clouds, but by the afternoon, we have a partly sunny sky, and as you can see throughout the day, it should be pretty calm and quiet outside. Rainfall totals in the very southeast corner might get close to 3/4 or an inch of accumulation, up to 2 inches expected for parts of Indiana, but a light drizzle, if that, for Madison, and certainly not expecting anything for areas north and west. Overnight temperatures really start to drop through the 30s after sunset. For tomorrow morning, our breeze coming from the southeast, and then in the afternoon, the cloud coverage builds on in. Rain chances are going to hold off, though, until later on in the evening and overnight. So most of your Saturday plans should be nice and dry. The only downside, of course, if you're traveling over to Milwaukee at all for any Saturday early Halloween plans, do know that it might be a little rainy outside later on in the day. And that light chance for showers does get close to Madison. Not ruling out the chance to have a little bit of rainfall come through late Saturday, but again, it's not going to be severe. It's not going to be really heavy. We're not really looking at thunderstorm chances either with this rain coming through overnight. By Sunday, we're partly sunny. Afternoon high temperatures will be in the 50s for Sunday afternoon. As I mentioned, our colors almost to peak right now in Dane County. I know a lot of neighborhoods and a really beautiful color spread currently. You travel further north and we're already past peak for the northern portion of the state. They had their peak colors a few weeks ago. Temperatures fall through the 30s after sunset. Will land in the low 30s for our overnight lows. So again, not as cold outside. Mostly clear sky, though, helps us drop quite a bit overnight. A light breeze from the south, though, so we won't be falling too much. Sunshine in the morning, and then the clouds build in later on in the day, mainly southeast of Madison, and then those shower chances develop late in the day. Again, in the southeast corner of the state, a little breezy tomorrow. Anywhere from 8 to 15 miles per hour, so not too gusty, though, even as that system does approach. For Sunday, we'll be partly sunny in the mid-50s for our afternoon highs. Monday, mid-40s. We dropped quite a bit. And then as we look ahead to next week, we are looking at the chance for a little wintry mix, so some rain and snow mixed together, developing Monday night and staying into Tuesday. Tuesday, the chance for that mix seems to be for most of the day. It looks like that system is going to break up a little bit on Wednesday, give us a pause with some sunshine, but by Thursday, we are going to have the chance for a little more wintry mix to come on through. That's less than ideal for Halloween, of course, but there's still a little bit of time to kind of keep an eye on what the timing is going to be for trick-or-treaters Thursday night. But right now, it does seem like that system is going to be coming through at least during the day on Thursday.
And the Badgers are playing in Columbus, Ohio tomorrow. It looks a little wet.
It looks a little wet. Unfortunately, the rain will be coming on through.
All right. But we'll be dry, so.
We'll be dry. Sorry, Badgers.
That's all that counts.
That's fair. Yes.
Thank you, Dana.
So Hattie will be in for Chris this weekend to keep you up to date on the weather on the morning shows this weekend.
And then stay tuned for CBS Sunday Morning. Jane Pauley is with us with a preview of what's coming up this Sunday morning, and Halloween's right around the corner, Jane.
Oh, really? Oh, yes, that's right. Hi, Mark. We are, in fact, looking forward to the holiday that's all about candy and goosebumps. And to get us into the Halloween spirit, our David Pogue explores the sounds and music that can scare us out of our wits. Here's a clip.
It's easy to understand why a loud, crashing noise can startle you in a movie. But quiet can also be scary, even when it's a lullaby. That's Rosemary's Baby.
Creepy lullaby. I mean, no one's going to be singing that to their baby.
Okay, so I saw Rosemary's Baby once, and Hitchcock's Psycho. I have never seen the movie, but that's probably because I know the soundtrack, which is terrifying. So we're looking forward to that this Sunday.
Yeah, sounds can be terrifying indeed. What else is on the show?
Well, how about a dinosaur hunt? We're going digging for the bones of a T-Rex, and we have the first look at a treasure trove of unreleased writing and music from the late legendary Prince. So, a lot as always. Hope to see you Sunday, Mark.
A lot as always as well. Jane, thank you. We'll see you Sunday at 8 o'clock. Have a great weekend.
You bet.
Some good stories. That's
Yeah, I was about to say, between Prince and getting scared. Yeah,
there you go.
There you go, a little bit of everything. Next at 4, Jay Wilson is live at Ohio Stadium.
He'll share some predictions for tomorrow's Badger game against the third-ranked Buckeyes. Stay with us.
All right, check this out. No, not Wisconsin. Thank goodness, not yet. This is Evergreen, Colorado, and you see that Evergreen, and you also see, yes,
snow.
And it's a little bit everywhere in Colorado.
Not just on the mountains either.
No, definitely not. It is on its way, I'm sure, to Wisconsin. Former Packers wide receiver Donald Driver has been named one of the 26 finalists for Black College's 2020 Football Hall of Fame. The selections are made by a 12-member selection committee composed of journalists, commentators, historians, former NFL managers, and football executives. The inductees will be announced on November 14th.
It's a big deal.
Crossing our fingers for Donald Driver there. Speaking of football, this weekend the Badgers will try to bounce back from a loss to the Illini.
The 13th ranked Badgers take on the 3rd ranked Ohio State Buckeyes tomorrow. Jay Wilson joins us live from Columbus. And Jay, Bucky's got his hands full tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, this was going to be one of the most glamorous matchups of the college football season. Everyone thought Wisconsin and Ohio State would come in here, both ranked probably in the top 5, both undefeated. But as you said last Saturday at Illinois, the Illini changed all that. The Badgers say they've moved on. They have to move on because if you don't get ready for Ohio State, they're going to just blow the doors off you. They have one of the most talented rosters in college football, a lot of 4- and 5-star recruits. You probably heard that term a lot this week about how great high school players they were now in college. And Ohio State's a 14.5-point favorite. Now, you mentioned the weather is going to be a little rainy. Right now, the weather forecast kickoff at noon Eastern until 3 o'clock Eastern, 100% chance of rain. But what Paul Chryst told us yesterday, the thing he's really keeping his eye on is the wind. That could be about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Rain they can handle. Wind can really affect the ball, especially in the passing game. So it's going to be interesting to see if that is a big factor, as it looks like it will be tomorrow.
So we might, Jay, see even more of Jonathan Taylor and some of the others carrying the ball, huh?
Yeah, you're going to see 2 of the best running backs in the country. Jonathan Taylor, as you mentioned, he needs only 13 yards to move past Monte Ball into 2nd place on the Wisconsin's all-time rushing list. And Ohio State has a running back named J.K. Dobbins, who's every bit as good as Jonathan Taylor. And what also Ohio State has is the #1 ranked quarterback in the country out of high school a couple of years ago, and Justin Fields. He's been fantastic. So I'm trying to make it sound like Ohio State's like way up here, and I guess they are. I mean, you think about Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State. Those are probably the 4 teams in college football, all of college football, that have superior talent to the rest of the field. Wisconsin's a 14.5-point underdog, but guess what? They were 31-point favorites last week at Illinois, and you saw what happened there, so you just never know.
And they've faced a 3rd ranked Ohio State in the past, the Badgers have.
Yeah, you know, in fact, the last time Wisconsin beat Ohio State when Ohio State was ranked 3rd here in Columbus was 1985. Wow. On that Badger roster in 1985, they had a sophomore quarterback named Paul Chryst. He was playing on the team at the time, so wouldn't that be something if it all comes full circle and he coaches them to a win tomorrow?
As we found out last week, anything can happen.
Most definitely.
And yeah, anything can happen and usually does.
There you have it.
Jay Wilson live for us in Columbus, Ohio. We'll see you on later newscasts. Have a great weekend, Jay. Thank you.
I'm really crossing the fingers that the Badgers just look past Illinois and we're preparing for Ohio State. Here we go. All right, still to come at 4, we are backstage with Michael Bruno.
He's checking out Sun Prairie High School's upcoming production of Footloose. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Right now, there are no accidents to report. Of course, the belt line's going just a little slower. And what we would like to see, that's the usual for this time of day, though. On the eastbound side, speeds are down into the teens, stretching past John Nolan. On the westbound side, things slow down a little bit around Park Street and then pick right back on up. Should be good to go the closer you get towards Gammon and then up into Middleton. All looks fine right now. 39 and 90 looks good all the way down to the state line. Janesville, we do have a few slowdowns downtown, but no major delays right now. And again, no accidents to report. We're at 27 minutes from Janesville to the Beltline, 16 from Sauk City to Middleton, and Sun Prairie to downtown up to 21 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Tina, thank you. The 1984 film Footloose was turned into a Broadway musical in 1998. It was nominated for 4 Tony Awards the next year.
The story of the big city teen who moves to a small town where dancing is banned, and his attempt to lift that ban is full of songs you'll be able to sing along to. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage at Sun Prairie High Schools for a preview of Footloose.
Tonight I gotta cut loose, footloose. Kick off your Sunday shoes.
It's set in the 80s, and there's a boy by the name of Ren McCormick and his mother. They moved from Chicago to the little town of Beaumont, which is kind of Midwest of Midwest. It's just right in the heart of the country and really small city. And when he gets there, he realizes that people aren't allowed to dance. There's been a tragic accident about 5 or 6 years before that some teenagers died after coming home from a dance, and the Reverend Shaw Moore, he decides to ban it completely. And so the plot is basically trying to bring dancing back to Beaumont and bring that fun for the teenagers.
Obviously, you're way too young to remember the 80s when this actually took place. So did you study things of that era? Like, how did they dance? How did they dress?
Yeah, for sure. Dancing was definitely my way into the history of it. So the hip hop of it, and then we kind of get a taste of country a little bit in this with still rocking. So yeah, we get to play around with a lot of different styles of dance in here, but it's a lot of fun.
Every show I've been in, I've had to dance in. Like, there's never been a show I've been in where I didn't have to dance. And each time I do like a different style. It's definitely more 80s inspired movement, and I've never done 80s inspired movement before. And it's definitely more like stylistic and, you know, hip movement and thrust and yeah, it's all over the place. But I would have to say my specialty is hip hop. But you know, I dibble in everything, dibble and dabble.
So Hamilton is your next step then, right?
I'm praying to the theater gods, I swear.
In knowing that there was ethnicity in that involved, that he comes from Chicago, was there any in that your decision maker? Was there any changes that you did for that?
I don't know that there were specific changes. Jamal certainly, I mean, he is a triple threat, and he is everything about Ren McCormick. And because he happens to be Black, I think that it does bring a different kind of wide open kind of take on probably what it was like in the 80s, and it is today in a lot of places in America. So we are really fortunate in Sun Prairie to have a very diverse student body, and I'm just so happy that we have diversity in our cast and students feel welcome in the theater. I don't know that it's changed anything about my particular blocking or choreography, although since he's an amazing dancer, I have definitely allowed him some freedoms to bring his own kind of style into some of the dancing as well.
Everybody cut, everybody cut. Everybody cut, everybody cut. Everybody, 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 everybody cut. Footloose. Yeah.
Michael Brunos, you know, they're still in rehearsal stage. I thought there's no sets or anything.
That's
it's a couple
correct.
Weeks away.
Yeah, they open on the 8th, so we got into an early dress rehearsal for them. And not one of those kids was born in the 80s. They knew nothing about the 80s
They weren't
at
born
all.
in the 90s either.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But they got it down, boy. They got that choreography down, and they really are giving it their all. So it's really encouraging to see them all, you know, doing that as a nostalgia play for them.
Right? Not even nostalgia. It's like history for them, isn't it? Oh, my goodness.
Exactly.
That Jamal, he's one talented guy.
Jamal he's a triple threat. I guarantee, I'm going to make a prediction, you're going to see about him, or you're going to see him on Broadway, I'm sure. He just has the charisma, he He has the talent and he's got the drive to do it. He's really, really good.
Is he a senior or sophomore?
He's a senior. This is his last year at Sun Prairie.
Does he know where he's going to go to college?
He hasn't said yet. I don't know if he's going to. I think he should just go right to New York and start auditioning. Yeah.
Well, let's his family can decide that.
Sorry, Jamal's parents, but that's my prediction.
You can blame him.
Or give me tickets for opening night.
Or that.
Lots of musicals coming up. That's why we're doing this so early.
That's right. There's lots of high school musicals going on. Next week we'll preview Janesville Parker and Janesville Craig are doing a co-production together of The Music Man.
Oh, wow.
That'll be good.
So that should be awesome.
From my music theater days.
Were you in music theater?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I dabbled, as Jamal said, too. Dibbled and dabbled.
Footloose, Sun Prairie High School opens November 8th through the 17th. Go to sppperformingarts.org. Thank you, Michael. We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. All right, not a bad evening.
No, it's really sunny outside right now. Barely even a cloud in the sky. A really nice sky currently. Here's a live look from our WISC-TV Skycam. You can see some colors. Dane County's pretty much in peak right now. Doppler track's going to stay quiet tonight and for most of tomorrow. Temperature-wise, this is about as warm as it's going to get from here on out. We're following over the next several hours. 49 currently in Madison. 50 in Janesville. That's a little warmer than this time yesterday.
Woohoo!
A little bit. A little bit. I'll take it. With a little bit of a breeze. Also, again, a pretty quiet night tonight. But for tomorrow, we will be watching some shower chances developing late for Saturday.
Not a lot, but a little.
No, a little bit of rain, mainly southeast of Madison.
Okay, thank you, Dane. Good to know. Monday here on Live at 4, we'll meet our Pet of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society.
And film critic Will Loper will tell us what he thinks of the new epic film, The Irishman. We'll be right back. Halloween right around the corner, and Lola and Louie, they have it covered.
Here's this week's edition of the Newshounds Now Update.
It's Newshounds Now Update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the Newshounds Now Update, one loud bird.
One leaping pup.
And lots of fashionable ones.
But first, the animals at the Brookfield Zoo near Chicago were given early Halloween treats this week. The zoo's Nigerian dwarf goats didn't know if they should play with the pumpkins or eat them. They ended up doing both. Norman, an African Cape porcupine, seems to like his pumpkin pre-cut. Hanny and Kartik, the zoo's two sloth bears, clawed their way to get at the pumpkin's innards. And Sandy, a nearly one-year-old binturong, also known as a bear cat, has some pretty fierce claws to rip her way into the tasty treat.
It wasn't pumpkins that stole the show in Key West. It was some fashionable critters. It's the annual Fantasy Fest Pet Masquerade, which drew dogs, cats, even a turtle with bunny ears, the tortoise and the hare. Get it? About 40 participants from costume, pet, and person duos to groups of people that performed dance numbers. There was something for everyone. Proceeds from the Pet Masquerade benefit the Lower Keys Friends of Animals.
Okay, cover your ears. Scientists have recorded what they believe is the loudest bird call ever documented. It's the male white bellbird. No, that's not a fire alarm. That's his mating call, and it's 120